Hello, welcome back to Spiritual Maintenance. I am your spiritual advocate, Mystic Mary, and this video is on relationships. So I have to start where, like I said, all began. I have been reintroducing myself to social media because I created boundaries, um, hermetized myself for quite a while. And in that, I was able to identify what energies in my life needed to go, needed limits, and what felt like home. Um, as I think I have uh, mentioned in a previous video, that feeling of home, that's love. Sex is not love. The feeling of home, that's love. Um, and that is kind of what brought me to here in recognizing that that sense of home is how we identify our soul tribe. So in kind of reaching back out in social media, I started off with kind of a diagram, and you can do this yourself, where you put a dot on your paper. That's you. Then you draw a circle outside of that, another one, and you keep going out. Now, those people that you would put in the first circle is those that if something were to happen, that kind of like the ride or die type of person, like something traumatic, emergency, that kind of thing, who would you call and who would show up? That's that inner circle. Then you go on the outer side. Who would you share a secret with? Who would you trust with your children, your dogs, your home? That would go in the next one, and so on and so forth. And then you look at your diagram and you ask the question, who do I spend the most time with? And more often than not, you find that you spend your time with those on the outer circle and not so much time with those in the inner circle. And that has everything to do with our values, which then leads me to the next spot. So if you find yourself in that position, I definitely encourage you to create boundaries with those on the outer circle and start prioritizing those in the middle, because that's your soul tribe, your soul family. So as I was making connections in social media, there was a someone that popped up in the someone you might know. I read the name. There's no profile picture, but I recognized the name, and so I added, and almost immediately the request was accepted. And I go and I look at the profile now that I had access, and it seemed pretty dormant. So I thought it might be a fake account. So I messaged and asked if this was the person I used to enjoy spending time with way, way back in the day. And he responded with, yes, I believe if you are, and he used my nickname from back in the day. And that just elated me. I was like, perfect. This is that person. And we got to talking back and forth, and we've both gone through some significant life hurdles and growth. And that's where we found each other, is that we're both in the growth. Like, we've been through a lot, but we're both in the growth state. And he had made the comment of, yeah, I remember back then you were always somebody that I could be myself around. I was always calm around you. And he said, I didn't understand what that meant until now. And that is what hooked me. Hooked me in the sense of, I went and meditated on that phrase of, I felt the same for him, in that whenever I ran into him, I felt calm. I felt like I could be myself. And so we would spend, hours just hanging out. And that's when I had that question of like, did I have feelings for him back then? And as I sat with it, no, I didn't. So then I questioned, well, what was this then? What is this feeling of calm and I can be myself? And that's when it all came pouring in, is asking that question. And what I got was, that is our soul tribe. The reason we paid it no mind, and I say we because Spirit made it very clear that this is a life cycle thing. It's a collective thing that everyone is dealing with. Where back in the day, we have those specific individuals that we friend zone, those people that we felt so calm with, that we could be ourselves with. But for whatever reason, we pivot and we go after these other people who we do not feel as calm with. We're anxious, we're nervous, it gets our heart racing and all those kind of things. And Spirit made it clear to me, it is because back then, grounding my emotions real quick, because it's a lot came out with this. Back then, we did not value ourselves. So when our soul tribe, who is at our level, showed up in front of us, we did not value them either. Instead, we valued things external to us, things that we believed could fulfill us, make us happy, show up for us, love us, etc. We had different values. And so we chased after that. And that is what put us in the cycle of toxic relationships, because we enter into these relationships chasing. Our heart's racing because we're like, oh, I hope I don't screw this up. Or, oh, I hope they see this about me and not this about me, because we're not going in with true love for ourselves. We're going in for what can I do to get this person to fulfill my needs? So you go into the relationship and already there's that power and control dynamic of, you just gave up your power. It's not so much they took your power from you, it's you gave up your power right away because you believed that by putting them on this pedestal, you were going to get your needs met, not realizing that it's not a member of your soul tribe. You are seeking outside of here for love. And we reflect. Our universe reflects back what is in here. So if we do not have value for ourselves, if we do not have love for ourselves, then the person that we are getting into a relationship does not value us, does not have love for us, cannot show us love, because we are chasing after what we do not have, what we believe is fulfilling. Once you understand that hard truth, you hit that rock bottom. You become a hermit and recognize those energies that have been sucking from you. We're not blaming them because we gave up our power to them. It was we did that. We allowed it to happen. We made excuses, explained away, whatever it was. We did that. This is our life. We're the only one responsible for our life. We made it happen. But then we must recognize that it happened. And that's when we create those boundaries to keep it from happening. And then we prioritize ourselves, because we are the temples of the Holy Spirit, and we need to treat ourselves valuable as such, so that we are walking in alignment. And then those who are part of our soul tribe then come back to us, and now we see their value much higher, because we now see ourselves as higher. I can be myself around them, and I value them because I value the fact that they allow me to be me. I don't have to keep a social mask to appease the other person anymore, because we weren't in a soul tribe together. So we were trying to coexist in realities that were not the same. So either one was wearing the mask or the other was. The two were not the same. I'm not sure why I'm pausing, but if you've been watching me a while, you'll know that I pause because usually there's a message about to come through. So give me one moment. Mm, okay. Sex. It's not love. It is a marriage, a soul contract. So when you come into contact with those that you put value on that are not in your soul tribe, you then create a contract with them to work through that skewed value system that brought you there to begin with. And I'm hearing it's reciprocal. So they're usually brought into your life for the same reason. They don't see value in themselves. You don't see value in you. So you came together to show each other your own value. You both hit rock bottom. So you both had to find yourselves. That's why it's so painful when you separate, because you recognize the role you had for each other. It's like you went to war together. And anybody who's spoken with anyone who's been to war, there's a certain brotherhood. Even if you're feminine, it's called the brotherhood, because you've been through, you've seen things, you've done things that only you can understand, and talking about it hurts so much. So when you are with somebody that went through the same thing, just being in the presence of the other is consoling. It's validating, because you don't have to say anything, it just takes a nod, like you get it. And that is the bond that is created between the two souls that are from different soul tribes. There's always that bond there. But I heard it must come to an end, which is interesting, because earlier I was under the understanding that it can go on longer, because anything is possible with spirit. I'm hearing it must come to an end because you need to meet your soulmate, your true soulmate. Because when you've reached that level, then you can bring forward whatever it is you were sent here to do. And I just heard it may take lifetimes. So if you don't finish that work in this lifetime, it will continue into the next one. And if you're like, oh my goodness, other lifetimes, what? It talks about it in scripture where Jesus was saying, um, he's talking of John the Baptist, where he said, this is Elijah, should you accept it? It was talking about, a lot of people try to skew it and say, oh, he was talking about the spirit of Elijah. But it's like, well, that's what is in these vessels, is a spirit. And that spirit transferred and came as John the Baptist. Um, if you go to the Jewish um, beliefs, they believe in that, the reincarnation, and they believe that those souls that are still here in this, like the end lifetime, are those who are still trying to figure out those final contracts, and work through. I just heard the value system, so valuing themselves. And so that's why there's so many earth angels here now, is because those of us who have graduated have come back to help them through it. Um, I feel like I went like around a whole thing. 1 second, let me ground myself again. Um, Okay, so the life contract with the opposite soul, it must come. Okay, so the two coming together that are not of the same soul tribe, that must end, and then the union of you and your true soulmate will come together. And please let go of gender with this. Again, we are souls that come through here. And how that looks, we recognize on a soul level, who do you feel at home with? And that's where you start. If you don't feel at home with somebody, don't even look at them as a connection, because that's when you enter that contract of, okay, well, now we need to go through this whole dynamic to find my value, find each other's value, and then separate, and then so on and so forth. So whether that's separating in we're on YouTube, so I gotta be careful. Um, Separating at the end of a lifetime and then carrying on in the next. Um, it could go that way, or you can choose to end it in your lifetime. Find the value within yourself with spirit, and then your soul tribe will be attracted to you. You just naturally vibrate that they all come to you. And it is in that soul tribe that you will find your soulmate, is what I'm hearing. Okay. Okay. And again, there's still that bond that you will have with the other person, but you must recognize that that's what that is it's a bond. Um, it's not a meant to be. It's a bond. It's a recognition. Um, you're their biggest fan. You both you guys are each other's fans because you helped find the value within each other, no matter how toxic it was. Um, it drove you to go within yourself to recognize that nobody is going to save me. Nobody is going to fix me. Nobody is going to live my life for me. I must find the value, my independence, my inner flame within myself, connect with spirit. That will then lead you on your personal path, which will then bring in your soul tribe. And it is at the end, for those of you who do tarot, you can get to the Nine of Pentacles, the Nine of Cups. That's your wish fulfillment, your very independent self. And it is once you have reached that, when you are okay by yourself, you value yourself, that your soulmate comes in and you have that Ten of Cups and that Ten of Pentacles, the happy family, the happy union. So work on your independence, identify what you value within yourself, identify those you feel home with, and ask yourself, why don't I see them as, why do I friend zone them? And then that will tell you where you see yourself on the value scale. And then you question those who are in your life, who you're trying to keep in your life, aka chasing those people. And you ask, what value do I see in them that I feel I don't have? And then you can heal that wound. Let it go. And then you'll see the friend zone people start rising up there in value. And thus you rise in value as well. Okay, I think that's all. I'm not hearing anything. Gone quiet, and I just feel this peace. Okay, I think that's the message. I hope this helped somebody who really needed to hear it. Just focus on valuing yourself, and that will be reflected out, because the more we love ourselves, the more we attract love to us. We cannot find love without on the outside of us if we don't have it here, because there's nothing being reflected back. And that is our universe, is ourselves reflected back. So if you don't have love here, whatever you're attracting in, it's not going to have it either, no matter how exciting. I just heard riveting. It is. It's not love. And that's not me saying that. That's literally what I'm hearing. So don't shoot the messenger, please. Okay. So much love, so much light, and I will see you again. Bye.